pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball. Good evening. Before we get started, a couple of procedural items. Is this on? Beautiful. First of all, that we had an executive session earlier to interview a fire chief. There was no decision made. We just did interviews. So let the records reflect that we did have an executive session earlier. Secondly, I've been asked if people in the audience can keep discussions and whispers down. Apparently, it picks up on the mics, which makes it difficult for us when we record for people to hear when they hear the playback. So it's kind of like background noise, if you will. So whisper a little bit quieter, or go out in the hallway and have your discussions and stuff like that, just to make it easier for everybody.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. First up, we have Police Department Award presentations.
Do we approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Oh, yes, thank you. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Approval of the minutes. Hang in there, Jim. Approval of minutes of, what was the date?
15th of July.
July 15.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of July 15th.
I have a motion to accept the minutes of the 15th. Do I have a second? I have a second. Further discussion? Stop it. Sorry, school starts on Wednesday. I got to get back in that mode. We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are passed. Mr. Hilton.
Mr. President, real
Sir.
quick, I want to apologize to the council, to the members of our audience. The screen is, the projector is not tilted, but because of the number of pages that we had in this particular packet, it was all we could do to even get it feed in the scanner. So what you see is the best it got, and I'm very sorry that it's tilted like that.
Like an old Batman movie.
Yes, sir.
You can't drag the bottom of that screen down with your arrow? You know how it does double arrows and it won't make it bigger?
I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm just talking about the way it's tilted.
No,
It's copied in.
that's okay. We'll all tilt our heads a little
Yeah.
bit and read it fine.
Yeah.
Well, right at the bottom of that line, right at the bottom where the brown is and the white. There's no way to grab that and pull it down, huh?
That's on the projector itself.
Yeah,
It's a copy.
it'll work. It'll work. Go
Good
ahead,
evening,
sir.
Council. In front of you guys, I've created a packet. Basically, this is an award recipient packet that you guys can follow along as I kind of call these out. Tonight, I'm going to ask Mr. Pato if he'd come down, since he's our police liaison. He's going to hand out the awards. As I call out the officer's name, he can come down and get their award. And if the family members would like to take some photographs, we'll take time. You guys can get some photos. I'll try to be quick here. We're going to start off with Officer of the Year. These are for 2018. I apologize for being a little late into this year, but we're getting there. So we'll start with Officer of the Year. This is truly just something that's voted on by the peers. So I sent out a ballot to everybody on the department. Everybody's name was on there besides mine. I let the officers vote for two people. That way they could vote for themselves. So it's a popular vote. And this year's award is going to Nate Lean as Officer of the Year. If Nate will step up and accept his award. And family members, if you'd like to come up.
Hey, don't tilt it like our. I know that's having an effect already.
Eyes tilted too, look at that. Yes, family members. Officer Lean's been with us since 2014. He previously worked at DePaul University. He's also serves as our PIO, and he's doing a great job with that, as everybody in here, I think, is getting to know his face all the time. Next, we're going to do Outstanding Police Service. These are in no certain order, so don't think nothing about the order that I call you guys up here. This award basically is given out to the officers who've went above and beyond this year in 2018, sorry. What the average is, they actually went a little above and beyond. They've arrested more people, they've taken more runs, they've taken more reports. They worked their butt off in 2018, so I thought they needed an award for this. So in no certain order, Jonathan Wolf, will start with you. If you'll come up and accept your award with your family. Family? Officer Josh Butler.
You look good.
At least you're not tilted. Detective Brent Allison.
Oh, and you're cheesing always, dude.
Excuse me.
Next series of awards is going to go out to impaired driving enforcement. There's certain thresholds these guys had to meet. So they had to at least have 10 to make it in here. At 15, you went to a silver star, and then if they got 20, they got a gold star. We didn't have a gold star this year. Hopefully we get one next year. So to get the silver star, they had to have at least 10 OWI arrests for the year. And then we had one that actually got the bronze star, so he had over 15. We'll start with him. Sergeant Chase Wilson, you'll step forward.
There's the picture.
Officer Josh Gager also gets the silver star. Working? Last but not least, Sergeant Jeff Slayback, Bronze Star. Still in your place, man. And carrying the key. If I can have one more second for a group photo, I'd like to take one group photo, just the guys.
Everybody's clearing out now.
Just like on a center. Yeah. What is it?
Family and friends of the police officers, you don't have to stay. For our whole meeting, this is going to take a while, so there's no reason for you guys to stick around unless you really, really want to.
You have food?
No.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for your service.
Appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
All right, I cleared out the first 3 rows. Like that? Hi, Manny. All right. Well earned, well deserved. I like that. Let's start off our meetings like that more often. All right, starting off with Resolution 10, 2019 fiscal plan adoption for the Martin PFL. Planning?
Good evening. So on this first annexation, we held a public hearing on June 17th. This is the last step in the super voluntary annexation process. It is ready for signature, and attached you have the ordinance for the annexation, the resolution for the fiscal plan, and the rezone ordinance approving rezone.
Okay. Great. Well, let's just take these one step at a time, and we can get through this pretty quick. We have Resolution Number 10, 2019, the fiscal policy. It's been introduced. It's ready for a vote. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion for the Resolution 10, 2019 fiscal plan adoption for Martin PFL Properties.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve the resolution.
To approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of passing Resolution Number 10, 2019, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is passed. Moving on to ordinance number 8, which is annexing the property. As I can get through all this. Tucked away in here. Is there anything you need to say about this, or are we ready to go?
We're ready to go.
Okay. I just found it in my packet here.
On the screen.
There we are. Ordinance number 8, 2019, an ordinance of Town Council of the Town of Danville, Indiana, annexing territory to the Town of Danville, placing the same within the corporate boundaries thereof, and making the same a part of the Town of Danville. Larry E. and Nancy Martin, PLF Properties, super annexation. Welcome into town. What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion to approve Ordinance 8, 2019, final reading of the annexation of Martin PFL Properties.
Okay, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, welcome to the town. And finally, ordinance 17, which is going to rezone said property. It's the pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve Ordinance 17, 2019, rezoning of requests for Martin PFL Properties.
All right, we got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, ordinance 17 is passed.
Okay, and on the next one, it's Jim and Diane Williams. You also have 3 items, ordinance number, Resolution 11, which is the fiscal plan adoption, ordinance 9, which is the Williams property annexation, and ordinance 16, which is the rezone. And by the way, it was heard on July the 8th, and there were no remonstrators for that.
Okay. All right, so here we have resolution number 11, the fiscal policy for James H. and Diana Williams, super voluntary annexation, expialidocious. Sorry, I just had to work that in. Sorry. Next year you won't get this. Just try the veal. All right.
Promise.
What is the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 11, 2019 fiscal plan adoption of Williams property.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second? A second and a third. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Ordinance 9, an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Danville, Indiana, annexing territory to the Town of Danville, placing the same within the corporate boundaries thereof, and making the same a part of the Town of Danville, the James and Diana Williams Super Voluntary Annexation. What is the pleasure of the council for ordinance 9?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 9, 2019, final reading of annexation of Williams property.
All right, do I have a second? Before.
Second.
There's a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 9 carries. Ordinance 16, rezone planning. This is coming in as general business, correct?
Yes.
All right. Same property, zoned as general business. Any discussion? All right. It's the pleasure of the council.
I make a motion to approve rezoning request for Williams property, ordinance 16, 2019.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the ordinance. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 16 passes.
Item on the agenda is an ordinance to amend the town code regarding speed limits on, let me find the streets. There are 5 streets.
Molly, Northview, Orchard, Meadowwood, and Washington.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Reduce that to 20 mile an hour, and that's based on concerns that we've had from citizens, neighbors in the area. And it has been advertised for public hearing.
Okay. So let's have a public hearing about this. All right. So, we have this ordinance before us. There seems to be some concern to lower the speed limit from 30 down to 20. Elton, any issues with reducing the speeds on these streets? Ray, any issue from Public Works? Okay, any comment from the public, since it is a public hearing? Yes, sir, come on up to the front, your name, and what do you do? From US 36 to the intersection of Lawton Avenue.
So that's our road, that's north. To 20?
30 to 20.
You'll be able to pull out of your house easier.
I can pull out of my house fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, just curious. I just know that a few years ago, we increased the speed limit down by the park from 20 to 30. I believe the comment was that we couldn't keep people going only 20, so we may as well raise it to 30, mess with having to write all the tickets. And that's a section where we have a bunch of kids all the time, darting in and out of cars. We got sidewalks all the way up Washington Street. I don't know, 20 to 30 is a big deal. Opinion. You don't have sidewalks, totally get it. I don't know what your other streets are that you mentioned. I don't know that 30 to 20 makes it. Not in the business of. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment?
I'm a resident on Washington Street, as Kevin is, and I'm probably one of the gripers. There are 20 children between his house and my house, which is at 185. And speed limit, I don't care what it is, it doesn't really matter. It's not being enforced. My wife and I sat on a porch Saturday for a couple of hours, and it's incredible the number of drivers who make it a challenge for a quarter-mile drag strip from Clinton to Columbia. I don't understand the mentality, having been a drag racer in my previous life. But that's what happens on that street. There's 20 kids on that street. And with the poor driving record we have that in around that neighborhood of people can't even get up and down the street, I'm a little concerned that one of these people are going to go crazy and either take out my porch, which I enjoy, or hit one of our precious grandchildren or children. So I don't see anything wrong with lowering the speed limit, except what are we going to do about it when they exceed it? If we're not going to enforce it, then it really doesn't matter what the speed limit is. So that's my feeling on that subject. I think 20 is a little low, but I think 30 makes sense, but it has to be enforced too.
Yes, sir.
Like Taft, good to see everybody. Was a traffic study done before making a determination to decrease it from to 20?
These are based on citizen concerns.
Traffic study under the code needs to be performed. I can give you the parameters, I can give you recommendations.
Great.
And at that point, we can bring it back before the council.
Thank you,
Thanks.
appreciate that. Any other comments to the public meeting? Okay, we'll close the public meeting, and since this ordinance has just come up for the first time, and legal counsel has given us pertinent information, we will suspend this ordinance and table it until we have legal counsel work with us on that. All right?
Okay. The last item I have is for the Pig Lot LLC. At the July 15th council meeting, you adopted a declaratory resolution to allow a 5-year tax abatement for construction of a new storage facility. Have not received any comments or inquiries from anyone. So tonight, the confirmatory resolution is before you. Tax abatement. If you have any
Okay.
questions, Jeff Pipkin is in the audience. He can answer any questions you may have.
Yeah.
Hearing yes.
All right, so I'll open up a public hearing on Resolution 12, 2019, which is the 5-year tax abatement to the pig lot. Which I gotta say, I'm not crazy about the name, however, you know, it serves its purpose. Any, this is serious business here now, let's serious about this. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, I'll close that public hearing for Resolution 12. Is there anything else we need to do with that?
For the
For
Resolution 12, I don't believe
We've held a
so.
public meeting, I just need
No.
to sign it.
Right.
Okay, thank you. All right, on to Resolution 15. Okay, this does require a vote, though. This is a confirmatory resolution regarding the application of Pig Lot LLC for the 5-year tax abatement. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, what is the pleasure of the council? Shall we go ahead and give this 5-year abatement?
Make a motion to approve it for Resolution 15, 2019.
All
For
right,
the,
I have a motion to approve Resolution 15. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion?
As I recall, when you presented this, Jeff, there was some discussion, or I thought you relayed to us that there would be 5 additional employees hired for this operation.
That is true. And Dwayne, the owner, is here if you have any questions for him.
Are those 5 employees dedicated to that piece of development?
I think they will be working in that development. The other part of his other,
The other piece that he's building?
yeah. But they will be here at the end.
Any other questions? We have a motion, we have a second. We've had further discussion. Any others? All right, what's the pleasure of the council? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution 15 carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Work on the name.
Hoglot?
Bacon.
Parking Palace, I don't care. Budget timeline. Clerk Treasurer.
In your packet, you'll find the 2020 budget timeline. I would like to have a council budget workshop before the next council meeting on August the 15th. Mark and I met again, and we thought that it would probably even be better if we can to start the meeting at 5 PM instead of 6, just to allow sufficient time for the department heads and myself to present the budget.
What day did you say?
August 15th, Monday, August 15th, the next council meeting. I mean 19th, I'm sorry.
19. All right, everybody okay with 5:30? Oh, that's right.
Do you want to move it to another date?
What is your timeline? Can we move? Okay, he says he's fine. 5:30?
I'd like to start at 5 if we can, but if
5?
not, we can, if everybody can be here at 5.
Tim, can you be here at 5?
Yes, sir.
Chris?
Yes.
And I think I can be here as well. Depends what's going on with school, but I believe we can do that. So 5 o'clock, August 19th,
Thank you.
and will that be in the executive workroom or in the council chamber?
It'll be here.
Good deal. All right, ordinance 21, 2019, vehicles in the park. Clerk, treasurer, and police department. So do we have a problem with vehicles being left in the park overnight?
So this has been a problem over the years, so I'm just gonna be, you guys all have the ordinances, I'm gonna briefly go over this. So this ordinance is basically creating any kind of vehicles left unattended in any of our parks that'll allow us to give them a ticket, an ordinance ticket, a local ordinance ticket instead of UTT. In the past, it's been that we needed to tow the vehicle out of the park, which is a higher cost to the citizen. We remove their vehicle and impound it for the day. So this will be something that we can do, another option, another tool in our tool bag. Just give a ticket to the vehicle that's left unattended in the parks. This would include all the parks now, including Aiken Park. The old ordinance didn't include Aiken Park because it wasn't part of the old ordinance. We're just kind of updating a little bit and giving us a little bit more options here on this.
Okay. We can either deal with this tonight, or we can go ahead and just stand as introduced and work with it next time. Will, what are your thoughts on this? Is it an issue in your department?
Anybody after 11 is good.
Meaning in the best possible way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of council? Do you want to suspend the rules, or would you rather just have it introduced tonight?
Suspend the rules.
Okay, motion to suspend. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? This must be unanimous. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. So will $25 get the message across?
I think it will.
And will we have any kind of signage that people will be aware of this?
I've already spoke with Superintendent Lacy, so we're going to add some more signage. There is some signage in Ellis Park already, so I think he's going to get with whoever he needs to get with and get the signage up in the other parks.
Okay, and when would you want this to be effective? I know we would adopt it if we approve
I would
it and adopt it today. When would it go into effect?
I would ask that we have some kind of leeway so we can get information out to the public before we start enforcing. I'd like to have some kind of communication with the public, grace period before we actually enforce. That way people know about the rules first.
How much grace time?
At least 30 to 60 days.
October, just before break. Any other input? Okay, any vehicles, motorized or otherwise, left unattended in the park during the closed period or after 11 PM are subject to a citation of $25 for the first violation, $35 for a second violation within the same 12-month period, and $45 for a third or subsequent violation within the same 12-month period. I see nothing about towing in here, is that correct?
Correct. The old ordinance mentions towing, so actually we've just did the tickets or
Put
the
'em with the
ordinance
tickets.
violations.
Anything from legal as far as this? Okay. Okay, oh, okay, it doesn't have to be unanimous. Got it. Okay. Oh, two, okay. Okay, thank you. Appreciate the clarification. All right, so we have ordinance 21, 2019. We're going to fine people for leaving their cars, a little cash, get the message across, keep the park clean, especially after 11 o'clock when people are up to no good. What is the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2119.
All right, I have a motion to approve ordinance number 21, 2019. Do I have a second? I have a second. Further discussion? All those in favor of passing ordinance number 21, 2019 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. And parking sidewalk, Treasurer, Police Department, what do we got here?
Ordinance 22 basically covers parking on sidewalks. This was a new ordinance, right? Brand new to the town. Working with the legal team from TAF, we came up with this basically to try to prevent people from actually parking on the sidewalks. So this would be also something new we would have to basically publish to the public and let them know that we're going to enforce this. There'll be
Okay.
some fines to this as well, as an ordinance violation.
About driving on the sidewalk.
This just covers parking, if I understand it.
So we do have a situation where one car drives across the sidewalk and then parks. And he would not be allowed, or her, whoever it is, not be allowed to do that. Let's pass this.
Okay.
Sorry, what? And one moment. I'm looking for penalty. It's unlawful, prohibits, restricted, correct, ordinance. Where's any kind of penalty? There's nothing in here that says, you know, they'll be fined, they'll be towed.
Yeah, I don't see a penalty either on this version I have.
Okay, let's table this. It's been introduced. Let's tweak it and bring that back for the council at the next meeting. Thank you. All right, alarm systems. Old today.
Number 23. So often the officers from the Danville Police Department get called out to false alarms to business and to the residents. So what we're trying to do with this ordinance here is get everybody to register their alarm. And then that way they actually get several different times of warnings before they start getting fees. We're trying to get some registration. That way when 911 dispatchers send their officers to these alarms, the registered alarm, they'll get a warning for it. We're getting a lot of 911 false alarms. We're going to these residents, we're going to these businesses. It's taking our officers time. Most times we only have 2 or 3 people on, so we're out of service checking these alarms, and they're just false alarms from the weather or whatever they might be.
Okay, so walk me through a scenario here. Somebody's got an alarm on their house, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and a raccoon walks through the back porch, and it triggers it, and so that generates a 911 call?
Their alarm is, like we was talking with Taft earlier, some people have an alarm on their house, but it's not to where it actually goes to a call center, which calls dispatch. But if you had the alarm and the raccoon went through your backyard, and let's say that it was actually active at a call center, that person at the call center is going to call our 911 dispatch center and send an officer. That's what we're trying to grab on this one here, is the actual 911 dispatch calls to a residence. Talking to her earlier from Taft Law, Caitlin mentioned that she has like the doorbell, what's it called? The Nest. It won't, so the Nest won't actually call 911 for you. It won't send officers out. She'll get an alert on her cell phone or something that there's something going on in her house. Well, that's not what we're after there. It's the ones that are actually dispatched officers in the communications center.
So, same scenario, her ring, now that the raccoon's gone from the backyard to the front porch. All right, knocking at the door. She gets an alert on her phone, and it says, someone tried to enter here. Then she would generate a 911.
Yes.
So what do we do when they're in good faith?
Good faith, no fee. False alarms is clearly what we're after here. It's just taking the officers out of service for the false alarms. And then by registering your alarm and paying a fee up front for the town, you're going to get so many, basically, false alarms each year.
Okay, so if they register,
Have so many false alarms.
they got 4 or 5, then.
Then we'll start, then the fees will kick. 3?
And once again, because this incurs a fee, we're gonna have to publish. So, and we'll stand this as introduced unless the council feels inclined to suspend the rules and deal with it tonight. What's the pleasure of the council? I personally would prefer that these be introduced tonight, and then let's get the advertising and get it taken care of. All right, so introduced. Parking.
Ordinance 24.
You're on a roll today.
Ordinance 24, parking outside the lines. This is also a new ordinance. I worked with TAF again. Caitlin did a great job on this. So on the square right now, this will give us something that we can actually enforce. So if someone parked outside of the lines, parked in 2 parking spaces, this ordinance would allow us to actually write the ordinance violation. So that's pretty much what we're going after on this one, just the parking in 2 different places or outside of the lines.
Park their tires.
Correct.
Okay, so, this seems to, is it a big issue?
So one of the big times we see this would be when you have your Friday cruise-ins. People park every which way they want to. They back up in the spaces. They take up 2 spaces. We definitely see it during that point in time. And then every once in a while, you'll see where people park in 2 spots. Not as big an issue as what others would be, but this is actually give us something that we can enforce while we're in the period of kind of looking into our marking the tires.
And you're not talking about the cars that are on display, you're talking about the public that comes to visit.
Yeah, this is for the public. So after, when they're there for display, we don't do nothing with them.
Okay. All right, what's the pleasure of the council? Do we want to suspend the rules for ordinance 24 or let it stand as introduced? Let's see. Violation of this ordinance will result in a penalty as established in 70.99 of the Danville Code of Ordinances. Once again, we're going to have to advertise that. We just introduce it tonight. Got the feeling that 26 is probably going to go Same way. All right, what do you got?
Ordinance 26. So this is just a fee schedule. We already had this, so we've adjusted some of the
Right.
fees, and we've actually added a few fees. So this has been in place. We worked again with Taft Law, and Caitlin did a good job on this. Just trying to get up to date on basically 2018. This thing hasn't been adjusted. Caitlin, do you remember when this was last adjusted? Years. So we're just adjusting some fees on here and adding a few that was not on here that we think that we need to have.
Okay. Once again, we can suspend the rules, or we can have it stand, since it does have fees and they've been adjusted. Assuming that has to be advertised as well.
Yes.
That was kind of my feeling on that as well. Thank you. All right, so we'll have that stand as introduced. On to ordinance. Thank you very much. Ordinance 27, 2019, amend the 2019 salary ordinance. Clerk Treasurer, all you.
This is to amend two administrative positions we have within the town. In the past, the planner and assistant town manager were one position. We're separating where the planner is a standalone position, and we have adjusted the salary for that to be the same salary as a department head. Exact same funding source as in the past. It's just changing the position title and changing the salary to match the department head salary. The next is we are changing the job title for the administrative assistant position in the administrator's office to office manager. Same salary range as previous and same funding source with an 80-hour work week as it was previously. The last position we are changing is the Public Works administrative position we have open. We are changing this to a job title of administrative assistant, putting that in line with the other administrative assistants that work for the town of Danville, bringing that hourly rate to match the positions that we have as administrative assistants, as well as the hours. It's always been an 80-hour position, and we are changing it to 70 hours to match the other administrative positions within the town of Danville.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the council here? Introduce it and let it simmer for 2 weeks?
Introduce it, let it simmer.
All right, so introduced. Thank you. Okay, Banning Engineering.
President,
Sir.
can I go back to your previous issue?
Absolutely.
By letting it sit for 2 weeks, we can't advertise the position. I'm just throwing it out there. If that's the wish of the council, but we can't fill the position, we can't advertise without having this locked in place. Would you agree with that, or am I wrong?
Correct.
Question? Introduce it?
This immediate need,
2 weeks won't kill us. I mean, I'm just throwing it out
I
there.
think we ought to act on it.
this an immediate need?
No, burst away. Okay, fair enough.
So we're.
No, that's fine, that's.
First time.
We need to be right on this. Thank you. I'd rather be right than wrong. Beautiful, thank you. All right. So, Banning, hello.
Joe Miller, Banning Engineering. As you guys know, the Stratford project's fully underway right now. Today, I'm presenting to you, they're going to be paving the first half Wednesday. Going to be taking a little break think they have some other stuff they have to, they're gonna jump off for a little bit and they'll come back on the 19th, weather permitting. Finish up the other half. I've got a change order deduct right now. We did some value engineering with the contractor, getting started, so the original contract price is $374,752. This deduct for change order number 1 is $9,980. It's for eliminating some geotextiles.
Awesome, thank you. You
Yeah.
can find as many of those as you want.
Well, we're gonna, part of the update, I have to be honest, we're gonna probably extend the project maybe about 7 or 8%. Because it's just the traffic load of the construction traffic is just, anything it pretty much touches, it's apart. So this will hopefully all work out in the wash. We'll be able to make it pretty close to what we're at with the original contract, but it might go a little bit over. But I want to make sure you guys are aware of that. We don't want to chase this problem, we're going to work with the contractor to make sure. But I do need action on this. The staff asked me if I could get.
We just need consensus on this?
That's all. I'll refer to our attorney. He's trumped everything I've said tonight, so.
No, I'm actually double checking myself. Is there additional appropriation
Nope.
on the salary?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Additional appropriation on the salary issue?
No, no.
Then you don't need to.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're actually decreasing.
Okay, well, we're still going to let it stand as introduced.
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
The question on the table is, he has a change of work order. It's actually a reduction. As the council just need to accept by consensus.
Okay. I have a motion to accept the $9,980 deduction.
Make a motion to do that.
All right, I have a motion to accept the deduction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Let's take that deduction. Thank you very much. Ray, you feel satisfied with the work that's going on so far? Okay. Mark, I don't know if Mark needs to sign this. Mark should, I think, because we've kind of run everything through the town manager on that.
Sure.
All right, we good on this now?
Sir.
Up on the other thing with the
On the salary ordinance?
Yeah.
I would not be unopposed to revisiting that, if you don't mind. Okay, now, Jenny, you were saying that this is, or Mark, your point was that we could not, if we don't act on this, then we can't advertise for another couple of weeks.
That's correct. We've
Okay.
just finished the job description, so.
Okay. And Jim asked a question,
Should we revisit that then to go ahead and act on it tonight?
right, and
Because it's a reduction, not an increase.
okay, so what is the will of the council? Do you want to revisit ordinance 27, 2019 to pass the rules and pass it tonight, or do we want to just discuss it a little bit and then bring it back?
Is this an immediate need? Is it? Okay. Revisit it later.
All right, public comment, anything from the public tonight? Yes, sir, your name and what do you do?
Good evening. My name is Greg Van Leer, and I attend council meetings.
Thank you.
No clapping. I have to admit that it's been a real pleasure to have council in the room during the meetings. Really appreciate you guys being here. Really appreciate the insight into the direction of the meeting. So I thank you for that. I would just ask that council would approach the bench here to make their comments so that those watching at home would be able to hear what they're saying. Thank you.
Hey, point well taken. Thank you.
On a night like tonight, you may need a microphone back there to you. Okay.
Okay. Or do we have another one that we could put near the press table? You guys got your own name, press table. Travel mic? Okay, good. All right, that'll probably help quite a bit. Okay, but it might also be a little bit of a problem if there's discussion going on in the audience too, so will that mic have an on-off?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can just click it on live and be good. That'll help. Any other public comment? Thank you, Greg. All right, hearing none, around the horn, town manager?
Yes, sir. Several months ago, the council made a decision on an alleyway between Washington Street and the back of what used to be Diesel's. This is 20 West Main Street. It's between US 36 and Clinton Street, if you're familiar with what I'm talking about, where Hair Magic is. We put barricades in there. Those barricades have been there for quite some time. It's probably time we did something with them. This actually kind of came up because there's a restaurant that's wanting to open at 16 West Main Street, but they're going to need a rear fire escape, and it'll have to go into that alleyway. So my question, since we haven't essentially closed it, but we put the barricades there, would the council be interested in exploring maybe a more permanent pedestrian walkway for that, like we did on the south side of Frank's? And maybe put a lighted ballard there and just keep the traffic from going. Maybe looks a little nicer than those great big orange and white barricades.
Anything? Jim, absolutely. Take a look at it and see
Yes,
if
sir.
you can.
We'll come back with some pricing then. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Bill?
Pool last day tomorrow.
Really? Okay. Gonna miss the paper on that one. You're reading this now, the pool has been closed.
Yes, exactly.
Anything from streets? Anything from public, fire, police? Good, good. I was gonna mention that, but, all right. Anything from our insurance agent? Okay. Lisa? Gary? Barry? Maylin? Anything from executive administration?
Talk to you.
Good job. Anything from legal? Thank you again. Appreciate it. All right. Jenny?
I have been asked to join the committee for the Indiana League of Municipal Clerk Treasurers, and I'm just asking for the consensus from the council for me to accept this appointment on the committee.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say yes. Everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Deal.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Jim?
No.
Tom?
Well, how long are we gonna keep the pool open?
Tomorrow.
Is it really? It's so depressing. It's my key to end of summer, but it's not. Use me as a lifeguard.
Anything else? Yes.
Just like to say Danville lost a true patriarch in Norm Gully a couple of weeks ago. Bud was just a true friend to the town of Danville from the amphitheater, his years on the council, his years serving on president of the council. Bud loved Danville and Danville loved Bud. He will truly be missed.
Chris? The only thing I have to say is what Jim Hilton said about National Night Out tomorrow night. Hopefully it won't rain like it has almost every time. But the yards kind of need it. So I don't know, it's kind of 50-50 on that one. School starts on Wednesday, so watch out. The kids will be out and about. And yes.
I was hoping Mr. Gerald would have pointed them out, but I'm going to take the opportunity. We do have a recycle bin in the room now, so please take advantage of the recycle bin. Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right. Be kind, recycle.
That's right.
All right. Claim docket.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve the claim docket. Do I have a second? Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to